Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we're gonna be dealing with V-trades. My name is TT and welcome to TDO. So before diving deep into the V-trade, let's start by discussing the direction of the V-trade. Now we have two directions. We have a left hand V-trade and then we have a right hand V screw trade. So now the direction goes like this. This one at the top is a right hand screw trade, and then the one at the bottom is a left hand screw trade. So these are screw trades. We have types of screw threads. We have a V thread, which is this one that you are seeing, and then we have what? A square thread. Now, after this session, we're gonna go and tackle the square threads, but for now, we're focusing on what? On the V threads. So they are called V threads because they have V's. Their edges are in a V shape. That's why they are called a V threads. This is a horizontal representation of the threads. Now, the vertical representation is like this. So if you were required to draw a screw threads without them labeling that you should represent them in a horizontal or a vertical position, you should just draw them on the position that you like. If they didn't specify, if they didn't mention it, unless otherwise you were given a rod and on that drawing figure, the rod is positioned in a vertical direction. That is whereby you will be forced to create your threads in a vertical positioning also. But the positioning doesn't change the direction of the threads. Even on the vertical manner, the direction stays the same, it does not change. So the direction of the right hand stays as it is, and then the direction of the left hand stays as it is. So this is what I wanted to clear up before we dive deep into the lesson. So now let's carry on. Now, when you're required to do a V-thread, they only give you what? A few details, which is the dimensions of the rod whereby you are supposed to put your threads and the pitch. So in this case, let's say our given pitch is 5 units, and then the length of the rod is 100, and then the diameter of it is 40 units. So you redraw the object that they want you to put the threads on. You redraw it first before you start drawing the threads on the object. So now that right there is the surface that we have to machine and put the thread on it. So now, given that the pitch was 5 units, 5 millimeters, so the first thing that you do is you mark 5 units, which is the pitch. You mark 5 units from that corner right there. You mark 5 units, and then from the opposite corner, you mark another 5 units. Now the following step is to identify the direction of the threads. Which hand is it? Is it a left hand or is it a right hand? So now you do not choose if you want to make it a left hand or a right hand. They tell you on the instructions, they give you all the instructions, all the tasks that you're supposed to complete and how to complete them. So they're gonna require you to do what, a left hand or a right hand. You're gonna be given that information. So for this case, let's say you're required to do what? To do a right hand V thread, external V thread. So now for a right hand, what do you do? After marking these two pitches right there, what do you do? The next step is you do what? If your threads are going horizontally like this, and then you go to your top right corner, you mark half pitch from the corner along that line. You mark half pitch. So our given pitch is what? Is 5 units. So it means the half pitch is gonna be 2.5. And then from that 2.5, from that point of 2.5 right there, going along the line, you no longer do the half pitches. You do the full pitch now, which means you're gonna mark 5 units, 5 units, 5 units, 5 units. You started with half pitch, and then from the point of the half pitch, you do a full pitch, full pitch, full pitch, all the way up to the end point right there. So let me zoom in for you so that you can see clearly. You start with a half pitch. The half pitch is 2.5, which is the half of 5. And then from the half pitch point, you start marking full pitches, which is 5 full pitch, 5, 5, 5, 5, all the way up to the end point. And then on the end point right there is gonna leave the same space of a half pitch right there because you started with the half pitch. And then the next step that you do after that, you come to the opposite side, which is this side right here. And then on this side, you do not start marking a half pitch because that half pitch right there is for deciding what? the direction for a right hand. You mark the half pitch on that part only. And then on this part over here, you do not mark a half pitch. You start by marking a full pitch. So which means you're gonna mark 5 units right there, another five, another five, another five, all the way up to the end point. And then let me clarify this. Deciding the direction on the top part, you start with a half pitch, and then after the half pitch point, you start marking full pitch, full pitch, full pitch up to the end. And then on the bottom part, the opposite part, right there, you don't start marking a half pitch. You start by marking a full pitch, full pitch, full pitch up to the end point. So that is the difference when you are deciding a direction. So if this was supposed to be a left hand, you were gonna mark your half pitch on this side right here, not on the top side. So you're gonna start with a half pitch here, and then from that half pitch, you're gonna mark full pitch, full pitch, full pitch for a left hand. But now this is a right hand. That is why we started marking the half pitch way on the top side. So your half pitch marking is what decides the direction of the thread, the hand of the thread. And then the next thing that you do, you remember the first pitches that you marked when you were throwing this thing. You just transfer these pitches from here to the other side using a faint line. And then same thing applies for the bottom part. Now we have 5 units on this side, 5 units. We have another 5 unit, 5 units. So this is where it gets interesting. What you do now is you join your half pitch with the opposite corner. That is the next thing that you are supposed to do. You join your half pitch with the opposite corner right there, like that. That's what you do. And then the next thing, that pitch line right there, you're gonna use it as a reference to create what? To create the thread's edges. Now that's the point where you start creating your what? Your V's. Hence this thing is called a V thread. This is what you do. So now how do you create the V? You take your 60-degree ruler, you place it at that point, you draw that line until you touch your what? Your pitch line. And then you place it there, you flip your ruler, you place it there with the same angle, you draw it to the same pitch line. And then when you do that, both of the lines they should create a single point whereby they meet. And that point should be in a coincidence with what? With the pitch line, whereby it makes an angle of 60 between the two lines that are creating your V. And then carrying on, you draw another V point right there. Same thing applies. You keep using your what? Your 60. You keep doing the same thing until you reach the end. And then when you reach that point over there, the only thing that is left, you just join those 2 points right there, like that. You close it like that. And then now you go to the opposite side. You go to the opposite side, right there. There's nothing new, there's nothing different. You do the same thing that we've been doing on the top side, right there. So it's what? You create the V's with a 60-degree angle. You take your ruler, you mark 60, and then you do the very same thing for the other side, for the opposite side right there. And then you pay attention. On your half pitch, you started from your half pitch, you started creating your V's all the way up to the end point. But there is a single piece of a V that is missing. So you should always pay attention to that. You shouldn't miss that. Because that's gonna clear up the what? The direction for you. It's gonna complete your direction. And then from that point right there, you close all the way to the opposite end point, to the opposite corner. And then this is the map that you've created for you. The only thing that is left now, you follow your creations. This line right there on the far end, it was joining with the opposite far end. And then the inner part, it joins with what? With the opposite inner part. You shift, you have a far end, it joins with what? With another far end on the opposite side. And then from the pitch line to pitch line, far end to far end, pitch line to pitch line. Keep doing that until you get done with the thread. So everything is starting to be clear right now as I'm completing this thing. It's starting to make sense. It's starting to look like a thread. You do the very same thing all the way up to the end. And then after completing that, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. You've completed drawing what? A V thread, an external right hand V thread. This is how a V thread looks like. Something like this. Every time when you are required to construct a V thread, you construct something like this. An external V thread, it is something like this. A right hand, it's this direction.